South Africa has long played a significant role in peacekeeping efforts in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The country's involvement in the region dates back to the late 1990s. At that time, a brutal civil war ravaged the DRC, claiming millions of lives. South African soldiers, as part of a larger United Nations peacekeeping force known as MONUSCO, have been stationed in the volatile eastern region of the DRC. This region has been plagued by armed groups and violence for decades. The South African troops were tasked with protecting civilians and helping to stabilize the region. Their presence, alongside other international forces, aimed to create a secure environment for humanitarian aid delivery and peacebuilding initiatives. Throughout their years of service, South African peacekeepers have faced numerous challenges and risks. They have consistently demonstrated courage and commitment to bringing peace to the DRC. In late January 2025, the security situation in eastern DRC took a dramatic turn for the worse. The M23 rebel group, widely believed to be backed by Rwanda, launched a major offensive in the region. The rebels quickly gained ground, capturing key towns and strategic locations. The advancing M23 rebels targeted the city of Goma, a vital commercial hub, and a symbol of stability in the region. The city was defended by both Congolese and UN peacekeeping forces, including South African troops. However, the defenders were outnumbered and outgunned by the M23 fighters. Facing the prospect of being overrun, the decision was made to withdraw from Goma. This strategic retreat aimed to avoid a bloody urban battle that would have resulted in significant civilian casualties. The fall of Goma to the M23 rebels marked a major turning point in the conflict. The event sent shockwaves through the region and raised serious concerns about the future of eastern DRC. The capture of Goma also served as a stark reminder of the volatile security situation and the challenges faced by peacekeeping forces. The offensive led to a massive displacement of people, with thousands fleeing their homes to escape the violence. The humanitarian crisis that ensued was dire, with many seeking refuge in overcrowded camps, lacking basic necessities such as food, water, and medical care. International aid organizations scrambled to provide relief, but the sheer scale of the displacement overwhelmed their efforts. The situation highlighted the urgent need for a coordinated response to address the immediate needs of the displaced population, and to find a long-term solution to the conflict. Diplomatic efforts were intensified, with regional and international actors calling for an immediate ceasefire and the resumption of peace talks. The hope was to bring all parties to the negotiating table to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Meetings between regional leaders were held to discuss the crisis and to explore ways to de-escalate the situation. The involvement of neighboring countries was crucial, given their influence and the complex dynamics of the conflict. Despite the challenges, the resilience of the local communities shone through. Efforts to rebuild and recover began almost immediately, with local leaders and international partners working together to restore a sense of normalcy and to support those affected by the conflict. The situation in eastern DRC remains precarious, but there is hope that with continued efforts, peace and stability can be achieved. The future of the region depends on the commitment of all stakeholders to work towards a lasting solution that addresses the root causes of the conflict and promotes sustainable development. The M23 Offensive and the fall of Goma had a profound impact on South Africa's peacekeeping mission in the DRC. The deteriorating security situation and the escalating violence pose significant risks to the safety and well-being of the South African troops on the ground. In January 2025, a tragic incident occurred that further highlighted the dangers faced by the peacekeepers. 14 South African soldiers and 3 Malawian soldiers, who were operating jointly, were killed in a fierce battle with M23 rebels. This devastating loss of life sent shockwaves through South Africa and raised serious concerns about the mission's viability. The South African government, faced with mounting pressure to ensure the safety of its troops, began to reconsider its commitment to the peacekeeping mission. The escalating violence and the growing number of casualties led to a reassessment of the mission's objectives and the feasibility of achieving them. After careful consideration and consultations with regional partners, the South African government made the difficult decision to withdraw its peacekeepers from the DRC. Section 4. A regional exodus. Malawi and Tanzania joined the drawdown. South Africa's decision to withdraw its peacekeepers from the DRC did not occur in isolation. This move was part of a broader regional trend that saw other contributing nations reassessing their involvement in the mission. Other countries contributing troops to the peacekeeping mission, namely Malawi and Tanzania, also faced similar challenges and concerns. These nations had been integral to the UN's efforts in the DRC, providing essential manpower and resources to stabilize the region. However, the situation on the ground had become increasingly untenable. The escalating violence and the deteriorating security situation in eastern DRC posed significant risks to their troops as well. The resurgence of armed groups, including the notorious M23, had led to frequent clashes and a spike in casualties among peacekeepers. This volatile environment made it exceedingly difficult for peacekeepers to carry out their mandate effectively. Both Malawi and Tanzania had suffered casualties during the M23 offensive. The loss of life and the injuries sustained by their soldiers weighed heavily on the decision-makers in these countries. The human cost of the mission was becoming too high to justify continued involvement without significant changes to the mission's strategy and support. They shared South Africa's anxieties about the safety and well-being of their soldiers operating in such a hostile environment. The peacekeepers were often outgunned and outnumbered by the armed groups they were supposed to contain. This imbalance not only jeopardized their safety, but also undermined the mission's overall effectiveness. The decision to withdraw was not taken lightly by any of the three countries. High-level meetings and deliberations were held to weigh the pros and cons of continued participation. Military and political leaders had to consider the broader implications of their withdrawal, not just for their own troops but for the stability of the DRC and the region as a whole. However, the changing dynamics of the conflict, coupled with the increasing dangers faced by their forces, led them to conclude that their continued presence in the DRC was no longer tenable. The mission's original objectives seemed increasingly out of reach, and the risks far outweighed the potential benefits. The withdrawal of South Africa, Malawi, and Tanzania represented a significant reduction in the overall strength of the UN peacekeeping force in the DRC. This drawdown was a stark indicator of the challenges facing international peacekeeping efforts in volatile regions. The departure of these troops left a noticeable gap in the mission's capabilities. This move had implications for the mission's operational capacity and its ability to fulfill its mandate of protecting civilians and stabilizing the volatile region. The reduced presence of peacekeepers could embolden armed groups, potentially leading to an escalation in violence and further destabilization. The international community now faces the urgent task of reassessing and potentially restructuring the peacekeeping mission to adapt to these new realities. Section 5. A controversial partnership. Rwanda's role in the withdrawal. The withdrawal of South African, Malawian, and Tanzanian peacekeepers from the DRC was a complex operation that required coordination and cooperation with various actors. These peacekeepers had been stationed in the DRC for years, working tirelessly to stabilize the region and protect civilians from ongoing violence. Their mission was fraught with challenges, including navigating difficult terrain, dealing with armed groups, and managing the logistics of supplying and supporting their forces. The decision to withdraw was not taken lightly, and it involved months of planning and negotiation. Interestingly, Rwanda, a country often accused of supporting the M23 rebels, played a pivotal role in facilitating the safe passage of the withdrawing troops. This involvement was seen by some as a strategic move by Rwanda to improve its international image and demonstrate its commitment to regional stability. Despite the accusations, Rwanda's assistance was crucial in ensuring that the peacekeepers could leave the DRC safely and without incident. Rwanda's involvement in the withdrawal process raised eyebrows and sparked controversy. Critics argued that Rwanda's actions were self-serving and aimed at gaining political leverage in the region. There were also concerns about the potential for Rwanda to use its influence over the M23 rebels to further its own interests. These debates played out in the media and in diplomatic circles, with various stakeholders weighing in on the implications of Rwanda's role. The Rwandan government, however, maintained that its actions were purely motivated by a desire to ensure the safe return of the peacekeepers. Officials emphasized that Rwanda had a vested interest in regional stability and that facilitating the withdrawal was in everyone's best interest. They pointed to the logistical challenges of the operation and the need for cooperation between neighboring countries to make it a success. They argued that their involvement was essential to prevent further bloodshed and to facilitate an orderly withdrawal. The Rwandan military provided escorts and logistical support, ensuring that the peacekeepers could navigate the complex and often dangerous routes out of the DRC. This support included coordinating with local authorities, managing transportation, and providing security along the way. Rwanda provided escorts and logistical support to the withdrawing troops as they made their way through Rwandan territory to Tanzania. This journey was not without its challenges, as the peacekeepers had to traverse difficult terrain and ensure that their movements were not detected by hostile forces. The Rwandan military played a key role in coordinating these efforts and ensuring that the peacekeepers could move safely and efficiently, where they would eventually be airlifted back to their respective countries. The airlift operation was a massive logistical undertaking, involving coordination between multiple countries and international organizations. Peacekeepers were flown out in stages, with each group carefully monitored to ensure their safety and well-being. This final leg of the journey marked the end of a long and arduous mission for many of the peacekeepers who had spent years away from their homes and families. While Rwanda's role in the withdrawal was crucial, it also underscored the complex web of alliances and rivalries that continue to fuel the conflict in Eastern DRC. The region is home to numerous armed groups, each with its own agenda and sources of support. These dynamics make it difficult to achieve lasting peace and stability, as alliances can shift rapidly and new conflicts can emerge at any time. The withdrawal of the peacekeepers highlighted the need for continued international engagement and support to address the root causes of the conflict. The situation highlighted the challenging geopolitical landscape that peacekeeping forces often have to navigate. Peacekeepers must balance the need to protect civilians with the realities of operating in a complex and often hostile environment. Their work requires not only military expertise but also diplomatic skills and the ability to build trust with local communities. The withdrawal from the DRC serves as a reminder of the ongoing challenges faced by peacekeeping missions around the world and the importance of international cooperation in addressing these issues. Section 6. Uprooted and Uncertain, the Plight of Congolese Evacuees. The withdrawal of peacekeepers from Eastern DRC had a significant impact not only on the military landscape, but also on the lives of ordinary Congolese citizens. The escalating violence and the capture of Goma by the M23 rebels triggered a mass exodus of civilians seeking safety and refuge. Hundreds of Congolese government soldiers, police officers and their families found themselves stranded in Goma as the city fell to the rebels. Fearful of reprisals, they sought the protection of international organizations. The International Committee of the Red Cross, or ICRC, played a vital role in evacuating these individuals from Goma to the relative safety of Kinshasa, the capital of the DRC. The evacuees, many of whom had lost their homes and livelihoods, faced an uncertain future. The displacement of such a large number of people put a strain on already limited resources in Kinshasa and surrounding areas. The humanitarian crisis unfolding in Eastern DRC served as a stark reminder of the devastating human cost of conflict.